been a journey to get you here.
Yeah, you guys. Everything has to be intentional.
Yes.
At least for me. So I don't just do things because I have to.
Okay.
There have to be something aligned or something like that. I want to believe so.
I think so. I'll start with homework. So I wanted. My name is Joker254. I don't know, your girlfriend. I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Joker254.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of Kenyan music.
Nice.
And we're building this platform called Radio 254. And our vision, our dream is very simple. The dream and the vision is to play 100% Kenyan music. Because why? Because Kenyan music is good. It's very good. We just don't have enough people pushing it, people playing it, people hearing it. I wish millions of people could listen to Kenyan music.
They will, though, thanks to you guys.
We hope so. Right now, we've had a couple 100,000 people listen to the station from all over the world, and we hope we can bring more people because there's something here.
It's not about the numbers, it's about the quality of the numbers. So you guys are good.
But when I reached out to you initially, ulinipatia homework. I listened to the album, and then I listened to the album, and
you bought?
I bought the album,
yeah,
and then I had to digest it. I had to take time to listen to it.
Yeah,
and I'm grateful for that because I had a few listens.
Nice.
I listened to the album about 34 times,
nice.
Trying to understand. Okay, what's the message? What's going on? So, but I'd love to know just where you've been in terms of it's for a lot of people, we consume music in a really different way these days. We consume music with the thought of streaming platforms like Boomplay, Spotify. We're like, okay, where can we find music easily? Especially Kenyans love Kenyan music, but they don't want to go out and look for it. So if it's not right in front of them right there, they're not going to look for it. And I think that's not just Kenyan, that's everywhere in the world. Like our attention spans are shorter now. So it's like we want easy. If you have to look for something, you have to work for something, people don't like that. So for a lot of people, they might have not had Exponential Potential, the album, the third one, or they might not have had Masterpiece because they're not on regular streaming platforms. They're available on your website and people can buy them there. But a lot of people were like, yo, where can we hear this album? Where can we hear that? Because we're going to play the album and then interview you. And there were a lot of them were asking, we can't find the album. And I guess it's really interesting, an approach you've taken in the last, few years with putting your music exclusively on your website where you get to interact with your fans. You know who buys. You know your fans. Unajua jeshi. If you don't know, Juliani akona jeshi and the jeshi is listening. So it's like, and I saw that early on with stuff like Ryan Leslie, where he said he got to understand his fans. He had their phone numbers. He knew who was buying his music and where they were from. So I'd love to find out, why did you go with that approach of putting your albums exclusively where you're the artist, you're the process?
I mean, if you go back a little bit, that I'm relatively a popular artist in the country, and I used to go anywhere in the country, and people used to know my name, but only knew certain songs. They only knew my face, and I was like, after this interaction, I will never see you again. I will never know who you are. I will never go beyond to know if you're okay and stuff like that. And the truth is, if you don't consume my music, I wouldn't be who I am today. Like, it's because of the numbers or the quality of the numbers that allow me to be who I am in the country, and I get to access certain spaces. So I'm like, why don't I afford the same opportunity or access that I have to other people who have consumed my music? So I'm like, and the people who consume my music also is like, it's not just random people. Like before, I used to think it's random people, but I can categorize different levels. I can see the people who know my face because they have seen it on newspapers, on TV, and there are people who go deeper to them music. There are people who literally have raised through my first album until now. Mm-hmm. You see, so people always, they're in my age mate sort of, because when they were in high school or university, I was in the streets. Mm-hmm. So it's like my age mates, and they have grown with me, and I was like, first of all, I need to know who you are. Second of all, I need to add value to who you are. And third, I just want to be able to, I need to be in a position where I need to be not in control, but I have to decide my future. So defining my future, it means I have to know, I have to have data. The other platform that exists right now, I can't have data. I can't access that data.
Okay.
And it's just vague. Everything is vague.
Yeah.
And I've been big in my space, but big is relative. So the people who listen to my music go deeper to the music. They understand the lyrics. They go to the. So I'm like, I don't want any forgotten person to. I'm not saying everybody's forgotten, but I'm just saying like this, as certain quality of people who go deep to figure out life, to figure out themselves, to figure out the future, whatever. So I'm like, let me get these people first.
I like what you're saying, but like if I think about that, data is you can have lots of data, but if you can't extrapolate it or understand it, like for example, when people come and ask you, okay, what's your target audience? Do you know these numbers? What are their ages? How much do they spend? I have no idea about those kind of things. But like you have the data, you know who okay, Jokia bought, we know Susan bought, but. And even deliveries, you even have their numbers you can deliver to them. But like, have you been able to take that data and like achieve more with it?
You can only do that by interaction. The more you interact with them, the more you know.
Okay.
So we can't know from a word go. We can't know just by having your number. We can know by inviting you for things, sharing things and stuff like that, and creating spaces where you can thrive, and we'll extract whatever we need.
Yeah.
And to make and the intention is, how do we build community? So I believe I have a certain kind of thinking about how the country should be, how a person should be, how a quality of human should be. So, and I think whatever resource you need to go to that level as a Kenyan, specifically as a Kenyan, I think I have that resource. So I'm trying to create spaces to share those resources and then multiply that ideology, that philosophy. So over time, we'll have a mini Julianis around, trying to change the world, because what I've learned over the years, in my opinion, is invaluable, and I don't need everybody to join it. I just need a few people who think a certain way.
Okay.
And will literally, if I'm able to do this in my space, in the span of 10 years, then it means if I have 10 people, we can do it in divide by 10. You know.
Of course.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, I'll say, even from Time Mentality, your music has had a message, and deep message. I guess I was talking today to the audience, and I was saying there's a big difference between a pop artist and an album artist, because I can still when I still listen to Mentality now, there's things I never had the first time, and I can only compare that.
Everybody says that, actually. Yeah.
Seriously, because
everybody says that.
I'm always getting, either I'm getting wiser or I'm hearing things that I never had before. It's really weird, and the only person I can say that with, Lil Wayne used to do that really well. He's a secular artist, but Lil Wayne, there's bars from Lil Wayne I'd listen to. I'm like, what? I never had that the first time, and with you, that's like the constant with your music.
I thought Jay-Z was the only one with that effect, though.
You think so?
But Lil Wayne is but Jay-Z is the one that had that effect.
But Jay-Z, but you see, if Jay-Z, they'll peter you, they're really high level, you have to really go back. They peter you a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I feel like for the longest time I've been listening to your music, there's so many things you say and you put in there that if you're listening, you'll catch. And I don't know if you do that intentionally or how did it happen.
I was also, at the same time, I was going through that. So I don't know. I was just packaging the information I was sharing to her earlier. Like, I was just packaging the information as it comes. I didn't know what it meant, what it will do. I don't know. But later, and even you can testify to this, like, the older you grow, the more you see things that you never
True.
Like now I'm 37, I have a child, I'm in a relationship, I've lost money. You are an entrepreneur right now, trying to build all this. So when I say something now, it means more to you than ever before, because you're in that space.
Yeah.
So when I say, like, my masterpiece album right now, if you're a just individual trying to figure out yourself and you're 30 years old and you're trying to figure out your life, it will make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But if you are 25-year-old, it won't make sense.
I'm going to skip a lot of things because I'm trying to understand tomb to tombstone. It can get confusing for me.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, there's no rush in you understanding. Grow into it.
Okay.
And grow out of it. So I'm not in a hurry to try to make the biggest song in the country. We've tried doing that and we've done it over and over.
Yeah. Siri.
Yeah. Like, so for me, it's like I have an opportunity, the ability to package emotions and thoughts and ideas in a 3-minute song and leave it, and soon enough people will catch up and do something around it.
Yeah.
And somebody will grow around it. You have philosophers around it, you have the Bible around it, but how can I be one of the alternative books or alternative voices you can use to do that.
That's funny you say that, because 2 years ago I read a book. I went to school in Michigan. I went to university in Michigan, and I met a family who are professors there. His name is Mwenda. And
Taragwi.
yes. So I met Mwenda, we became friends, and then I never even knew he wrote a book. So one day I was on Amazon and I bought a book I bought the book he wrote, and he talked about hip hop and culture and it was also, and I got to understand even you on a different level because of that book. Can you talk about like how you guys met, or even how that book came about?
The Street in My Pulpit is like, it's based on his life and my life, his generation of Christianity and the transition throughout generations, and particularly mine. And that's what I was telling you. Like when I was writing music, I was just writing music and expressing, and I thought at that particular time. But when a third party sees it, they see something else. Constantly I see people talking about, oh, you raised me, or I never thought this and that. So Ntaragi he contacted me through Dorothy. I think I don't know if she's in Google now.
Okay.
Through Dorothy or Aoko, I think. They contacted me and we hung out. He came to one or two of my events, and he told me he wanted to do the book. Transcripts are in Guinea. Before I know it, they have the publishing. And it was a study. So, and I went through it. I'm like, wow. I never saw myself from this point of view. I always get the small bits of who I am through people who I met consistently. And I built my confidence. But this is a professor who understands certain stylistic devices that I use. Like it's not just poetry. Yeah. It's well done.
It's not just
well
words.
read, intentional words. You get? So when he and beyond the words and poetry, there is the meaning behind it, and the intricacies in the words. And I was like, man, that's one of the most beautiful thing actually has happened to me. Like finally somebody sees it, because I always feel like people inapita watu, they only measure how good you are based on chart, where you are in the charts. How many numbers you can pull in a concert, which we have constantly done actually. Yeah. We've done easily 5,000 people just coming to watch me perform. We've topped all the charts over the time. But I'm like, this is an intellectual who understands the intellectual version of all this. Yeah. So when the book was done, I was like, wow. And we make it, So you look at levels, to me at least. And it stamped exactly what I was trying to do over time.
Juliani, I can say for myself, for example, I don't know myself. I can't say, even when people like say, I know you, I feel like you don't know me, because even I don't know myself. Do you, at the point where you're at, where you've experienced highs, you've experienced lows, you've experienced life, you've experienced everything you've experienced up to now, you're still learning, you're still evolving, you're still growing? Because that's when I listen to Masterpiece, I hear growth. I hear you have experienced things. I hear you've experienced life, you've experienced growth. Like, you're growing like the rest of us, right? You're not, we see a superstar, so we assume everything's figured out. Like, for you, is life straightforward, or is it like this?
No, nobody has figured it out. Even the richest to the poorest to the most powerful, nobody has figured it out. And that's the most beautiful thing, because we thought when we were growing up, and I was telling her earlier, we thought some people had figured it out. Nobody has figured it out. Man.
Even our parents. Like, you realize your parents don't have it figured out.
None, and that's the beauty of it, though, because for me that's the beauty of it. I was like, now kumbe I have all this, like it's a whole canvas, and I can create whatever painting I can create, and somebody will look at it and say there's something in it. So I don't have to copy, I don't have to do things the way other people do. So that can be converted in how I do business, how I do music, how I do relationships, how I do friendships, how I do thoughts. But that's why for me I'm a little bit spiritual on it, because kumbe there's the Bible for me. Bible is a reference point on who I'm supposed to be. Because initially when we were growing up from Dandora until I was 20 years old, I thought I was supposed to be this rapper. So a rapper, the first thing you have is my first car was a Starlet when I was 23. Second car is a BMW, you're going to break down kila pahali.
Benzo.
And then the Benzo. And the Benzo was 27. And then I'm like, because all those levels were based on what expectations
of a rapper.
What I assumed people wanted to see in me as a rapper. but I used to get more. One of the best. I used to go and write proposals out of Kizungumbaya and get deals done. And I was like, wait a minute. When I'm in a room full of people and I'm sharing what I think, and everybody sharing what they think, I'm like, Buddha, I thought you guys had figured it out. Kumbe, I'm doing it, you know. So over those experiences, then I realized that, wow, kumbe, nobody has figured it out. Now, that's a beautiful thing because now you have an opportunity to express. Never feel shy to say what you think. Never feel shy to be wrong. Never feel shy to fail. Never feel shy to be depressed. And then you come back again, you know. Now it's a whole field, yani. I can do whatever I feel like doing.
But I want to go to you say how your music raised us. I remember I was probably early and finishing primary school, going into high school, and your first album came out. And I remember hearing your music for the first time because it was on the beat. Biceps was playing, and the beat used to play that song until, as in, the first time it's like, who's that? Because it was like nothing you've ever had.
Exactly.
It was, I promise you, I watched the beat every single day after school, but I stopped. I'm like, what is that? What, like, and then the things you were saying, it's like, the way you packaged it in a way that, I don't know. Like, I still remember that moment of what is, you know, like when you hear something unique, you stop.
And you're like,
what is that?
And the unique thing is, at that time, the biggest songs were Jomino tracks.
Yes.
They were Gopa tracks. So they were upbeat. None, you didn't have to say anything special on the songs. You just need to be comic-y, a little bit comic stuff. So I came up with Biceps. So when we were doing the plan for the release of the album, because Biceps was the single off Mta Mentality album, and everybody was like, you have to release Mahewa, release Hella, because it's upbeat.
Yeah.
Though it's strong lyrically, but it's upbeat. No, I was like, no, let's do something totally the opposite. And we did Biceps. So when we did Biceps, it's like it changed the landscape altogether. And the reason why it was unique, not just because it was hip-hop being played, it was hip-hop that spoke certain things that wasn't used to. Nobody was used to. Pre-Ukoflani Momao and Mashifta. And third, it was considered gospel.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was played everywhere. You know, so like looking back nowadays, when like you can't tell me nothing, squeezing najidai sana na ujalo yangu, but the truth is, like looking back at what we're able to achieve, because every time we used to be told like, Kenyans don't like this, that. No, give them alternatives.
Yeah. Nobody knows what they like. Consumers don't know what they like. You give them and then they decide.
Give them, as long as it's good, nobody denies. As long as it appeals to their emotions and their idea and their whatever thing, they will all respond to it.
And I'll say randomly, just off the cuff, like Lambalolo, for example, people were saying this is a bad song. But then if you listen to that song specifically, and even Gengeton, it's what the regular teenage Kenyan kid is going through. And even when you talk about, like, even what you were saying in Biceps, I think of whether it was Sio Shida ya Macho ni Weed, it was like Hulpuliza, like the things you were saying is, if you think about that's, you were saying what we're all experiencing.
Now there's two the ways of looking at it. So the Lambalolos and the Gengeton, the initial Gengeton, I'm a super fan.
Okay.
Not even the because they were documenting their lives.
The rawness and the authenticity, yeah.
But also, they were like, even the Bogigenja guys, if you listen to their lyrics, they are really good lyricists.
Yes. But that's how people talk. Some guys, the people talk like that for real. Exactly. For us guys uptown, we're like, oh my God, that sounds so cool. But there's guys who say kidungi in regular conversation, you know.
Exactly. But ours was, and I did a lot of research on this. Okay, that thought process around it is that I realized that we didn't just document. We took people places that never been before.
You took us down to D, where you came from,
not that
without
actually.
taking us there.
We took you to a thought process that you've never been before. Because we didn't just because the normal Dandora Ukoflani documented the day-to-day lives poetically of what they're going through.
Okay.
You get? So mi nafuta bangi, napigwa na polisi, tuko na njaa,
pesa pombe shida na
yeah. Exactly. So it's literally poetically describing what you're going through. Now, okay, let me just put myself in the center of that. Like, what I did is that the ability to take you to where mentally you've never been, creatively, imagery that put pieces together that you never thought of it, but also the power under it is the Kolo says this word a lot. There's unwell. People are anasema kila siku, like people are unwell.
What does that mean?
And unwell means that you can say the spiritual side where okay, me I use unclogged. Let me use unclogged. Unclogged means that the reason why if you put if you put electricity through this and it's rusted, you won't get the quality of that electricity unless you remove the rust, no?
Yeah.
So unclogging is that rust.
So you can get electricity, you need to clean it up a bit.
Just so that a lot of people have the rust, fluffy and things that don't matter, and until you remove the. So we are able to take people to what actually the place where you need to be without the rust.
Okay.
Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, but at the same time maintaining the authenticity of where you are as an individual. So I'm trying to explain.
Juliani, but you know the thing is, you didn't just do it, you did it as a gospel rapper. You know that was, you know, for our parents, they were happy with that music because that was God's music to them. For at that time, it was, you're listening to God's music, we like that. But even, like, you know, if you played rap in the car, you'd be told, what is that? What's that noise? What's that nonsense? But then if I played Mentality, I would be allowed to listen to the whole album, even because the spirit, I don't know, it was like favor or bless. I don't, like, the fact that, I don't know why, but like
it was, Mentality was more excessively poetic, and it was loved outside the church more than inside the church. Inside the church is because the people, because initially when I got born again, the problem that I had is that I couldn't listen to music. Like every music was tunakusujudu, tunakuabudu.
Okay.
Which is good. But I'm struggling with chicks.
Yeah.
At that particular time as a young man, I have hot blood.
Yeah.
No. I'm struggling with brokenness. I'm broke. I have these people who, my role models are thugs in this neighborhood, and they have better cars. They have all I'm struggling with this, which this God is not alive, is not present, is not, this God that you're talking about is akouko.
Yeah. So
I'm struggling with that. So we just put that in music and say, I'm struggling with this, but at the same time, I'm maintaining the faith.
Juliani, when you guys made the song with MOG, you know, like that was scary. You know, like because it's like Sikuizi Nadara pages are Bible, Parfon. Like nobody was, gospel was there, but no one was brave enough to say it. Because that's the truth, though. You think it was the truth. Because as before you got born again as a Christian, like of course you're going to do worldly things. But then we don't talk about, we're supposed to like kind of pretend that never, I don't know, we're supposed to change and be
No, it was pretentious. The gospel is pretentious.
Okay.
Is that the right English word?
Yes, it is.
Pretentious, yeah? So it's more of, no, you're a human being. There are certain words you use every day in your tongue, you use every day. That's why I feature it. The conversation that I have with God every day is from a human point of view.
Yeah.
Because if I, like, I've been sharing consistently on, I'm reading Romans now.
Okay.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah?
Chapter 8 especially. Yeah.
Romans, bro,
Ngumu.
accepts your humanity.
Kabisa.
Because they say it's not by works. Even right now, is Romans 11:6. Inasema, if it's not by faith, nimesahau your word. So, see of Romans inasema.
I'm getting it for you. Just don't worry.
There's Romans 11:6. There's Romans
11:6 says, and if by grace, then it cannot be based on works. If it were, grace would no longer be grace.
Exactly.
So what does that mean?
Buddha, it means that we don't have to do shit.
We do nothing?
We do nothing, literally, because you can't.
I can't do nothing, Juliani. You can't get me to do nothing. You know,
you can't.
I'm a worker bee.
He's a go-getter.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm saying for you to be accepted, you to be justified.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you don't need to be you don't have to do anything to be your father's son.
True.
Yeah.
I'm already my father's son.
You're ready. Anaweza kuchuja, anaweza kutusi, anaweza kufanya nini, but you're still, you can even rebel and do everything you have to do, but you're still, ule ni mtoto wa nani.
Yeah.
They still call you that.
Yes.
So that's what it says. And even doing nothing, when it comes to even our work and our businesses and stuff like that, how many times have you tried to do things by yourself and it never worked?
I tried to be a musician. It failed. God didn't want that to happen. This has God's favor every day. I don't even, when you say I have to do nothing because God has decided this is good, I'm just being used. It's not about me.
You just need to have faith.
Yeah.
And you just need to wake up in the morning and show up.
Yeah. God's already sorted the rest.
And everything that is in your mind, you implement. So whatever idea comes in your mind, you implement. That's the difference. I'm not saying that you just sit and wait. I'm just saying you do things based on instructions.
And grace.
Yes, instruction. I read Psalm yesterday, and God gives you instruction, not instruction. You just follow.
Yeah, obedience. So the whole Bible can be summed up to obedience. The whole
That is very true.
the whole Old Testament and New Testament, the only summing up needs to be done is obedience.
That's true.
Faith and grace. Those three words.
Faith, obedience, and grace.
Yeah, because
Umesahau love.
love is automatic.
Okay.
Love is automatic.
So, I'm thinking about something. And just to kind of touch on where we're at right now. I was talking to someone yesterday. I was telling them, for me, I believe in a personal relationship with God, in the sense of maybe my parent might be far away, or my parent might be deceased, and I can't talk to them, or it's hard to share with people, okay, this is what I'm going through. But for me, I can talk to God in a personal way, because I don't have to hide. I don't have to, he knows, and I can share with him. I have a personal relation in the sense of, it's not about going through my pastor. I can go to God and we can have a personal relationship. And I'm trying to understand, for you, in terms of where you are right now, I don't want to say you're a gospel rapper, and I don't know where you're at, because as I listen to Masterpiece, I do hear your relationship with God, and I hear you talking spiritual things. But I don't know. I don't want to box you and say Juliani is this. How would you? What kind of music are you making? Because people want to know, and I don't know if it's. I wouldn't say it's gospel. I can't say what it is. How would you define the music?
I'm
you're
just
making?
a rapper, man.
You're just a rapper.
I mean, I'm just a good rapper. I'm really good at it.
Yes.
I'm just good. I'm as a good rapper. The rest is content that I've based on my life, based on my experiences, based on my interaction with God.
Okay.
I'm just documenting my life, sharing my thoughts, and I think I have ability to take people where they have never been before.
Okay.
So I'm going to take people where I've been.
Where have you been?
Buddha, my relationship with God is something else, bro. Levels.
Okay.
Based on my research around people.
Okay.
Because the day I realized, first of all, what saved my life when I was in Dandora, the day I realized I have something to offer.
So what did you figure out? Okay, this is what I have to offer.
No, I have to offer myself. Every experience I've ever had, every week we used to wake up and see dead bodies in the streets. I didn't have the best grades. I used to see these people that I admire. Every accumulation of everything I ever thought, it means on this table, you Michigan, Michigan, hizo vitu zote you've gone through, then it means you have something to offer in this space. That's why you are set up all this. Why is it that not majority of people have set up this? Mm-hmm. Because you have something to offer. You have a way of thinking that majority won't. You have certain level of courage to put up your money, call people to have this set up. So you're unique.
And all of it makes sense in hindsight. All of my struggle, everything I've done, when it allows me to be who I am right now. In the moment, it doesn't make sense at all. But like when I look back, okay, I tried to make music, but I understood, okay, you shoot a video here, Lucas is here. You can. It wasn't for me. It was so that I could connect the dots. Because even going to Michigan was necessary for where we're at right now.
You know A-Star?
Yes.
You've heard his story.
I've watched all of CTAs and everything.
Just go and listen to A-Star's story.
Okay.
Like A-Star's story, everything always lead up to something. Like that's the most beautiful, and you didn't orchestrate it.
True.
You didn't plan for it. And even if you planned for
you couldn't do it as
you
good.
will never do it as good.
Yeah.
As it happened.
Yes, you can go and go out. So when you feel that urge in you to make a phone call or to do something, to set up this without even seeing the end product, that's God speaking to you. And God is speaking every day. Yani, is this the most simplest thing ever?
Yeah.
That's why I respect all the other religions, but even I was reading in Twitter, I posted it today. It's Matthew 11, 28 to 30.
That's my favorite
The
right
thing
now.
about
Cast your cares unto him and
To
he'll give you
Some,
rest.
I like how you,
Oh,
I like
sorry.
how you dropped it in last time.
Okay.
I posted it.
I got you. Matthew 11. Would you like to read your post or should I
11,
read?
20, 28
28 to
30.
30, yes.
Please read it.
Okay, so thank you. Matthew 11, 28 to 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Kwanza may repeat rest twice kwa your story. But me, the most beautiful thing out of it is that my yoke is
easy and my burden is light. Can I share with you a prayer that I say every morning?
Please.
That let me tell you, because I've been listening to what you're saying and it's been touching my heart because it's true. Like grace, let me read for you the prayer. It says, there is an anointing of ease on my life. God is going before me, making crooked places straight. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. I will not continually struggle. What used to be difficult will not be difficult anymore. God's favor and blessings on my life is lightening the load and taking the pressure off. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yeah. You don't need to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like God has sorted it out. Like
He's worked it out
This is the most
already.
difficult thing to teach to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's telling you to do nothing.
Can I tell you the crazy? I had a girlfriend and she was she had so much faith. It used to upset me because I'm a human. I get upset. Things are not working out. And I'd get upset and she's like, God's already got it. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm upset. I want to feel this. I want to. She's like, she used to be so calm in situations. I used to get up. Until now, these days, I'm just like, God's got it. And it was hard to accept because I'm a control. I need to be in control.
Because you deal with a calendar and a time.
Yes.
God deals with seasons.
Wow.
What is
Take me to church, sir.
Yeah, you deal with calendar and a time. We're kulingana kalenda yako hii month lazima.
Lazima nifike hapa, lazima nifanye nini.
Seasons ni different, bro. Me, I pitched some things to Kenya Bank Association in 2018, 2019. This week is when it made sense.
19, 20, 3 years, 2.5 something maybe.
And that's why I love Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There's a time for everything. And 3:11, where he says he makes everything beautiful in his own time. For him, there's no delay. There's no, it's come early. It's
even if we
perfect timing.
Yeah, there's no, like, he just comes when you need it. Let me tell you guys a story. Just like
Please.
3 weeks ago, bro. So I do talk to Kuza, and we have like choir sessions and everything like that. So as we're driving, I was going to pick my bro because this year we're doing it with my bro, and he was somewhere else. When we're chomoka in that apato, I gonga a Mercedes. And this person, the person who was driving the Mark, comes outside and is like, kai. Nakusikilia huruma kwa sababu isi gari yangu ni ya muindi na huyu muindi ni mbaya tena sana. Like, bro, this guy has tortured how this muindi is the worst guy. My anxiety starts flaring up. I look at my bro. I'm like, guy, we're going to be late for tour. Like, you know how you just freak out? And I'm a guy who, when things happen, I freak out. Anyway, we malizana, us guys went for tour. I was outside, I was crying because I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I don't even have money to pay this guy. This Mundi had refused to even talk to us. Like, he's like, I can't deal with you guys. Like, just take the details, we'll sort it out after it's taken to the garage or whatever it is. I'm so stressed. Then I partnered with one of our members and I'm crying and she's like, Wagwan. I'm like, I can't even believe it. And she told me, God will work it out for you. Me, I'm like, bro, I've been told this Mundi is from hell. He does what? What? It's gonna be a case. Oh. Me, I'm like, gay. Bro. One Tuesday, I'm on with my bro, and my bro is like, oh, by the way, we'll just send this guy 750 bob. Just looked up to God and was like, you know what? The way you work out some things for me, I can't understand. Because all the watches that refused us to bounce, the house manager had come chini. She said, shikaing hakichwa, wow, you guy pali uko, arasiju. Like, you know how guys chocha. And I was just like, what? By the time that Tuesday was coming through, because like, He hadn't talked. He hadn't said anything. I was just like, okay, so is this going to be a thing for insurance? Is it going, like, how is this, what is going to happen? And I'm like, God, why is it so silent? Wagwan, I've heard about this guy. But you know what? I was told you'll work it out for me. You're bigger than any other person in this place. I get that text for 7 feet. Bro, I didn't even breathe. I was like, there, take. And he never shiked us. He never took us anywhere. He never, like, it just went like that. And I was like, bro, that's not me. And when you shared this thing about grace, it's generally God's grace that's sufficient.
Yeah. So God is sufficient.
Let me even, like, my scripture for today. So today I was reading Romans 12.
Yes.
And Romans 12:2 is the culmination of it.
Yes.
It says a lot of things, but 12:2 about the whole do not conform to the patterns of the world and be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But after that it says test na venye nimekram the whole day yani bamba yani nimekuwa niki. So it says
for by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought. Amma?
Romans 12:2-3.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So 2, which is one of my favorite, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and prove what God's will. His good, pleasing and perfect will. That's true. Those 3 things made me
good, like
pleasing and perfect.
Good, like anything that happens to you, Buddha, just know that it's good, pleasing and perfect to God, as long as we surrender kwake. So in every, like the way those guys responded to whatever situation was.
Yeah.
So when you watch
house manager
and the guy who was driving so they can only respond based on what they know and the interaction with that person, their trauma, their experience, like all the madogodhanio was up and down,
yeah.
But also on the side, there's God's way of looking at things.
My guy.
So in Amensha, every day when we make decisions and we interact, there's filters to how we look at life. There's the people's filter, there's your experience filter, there's your workplace filter, there's your background filter. Like all those filters.
Your experiences and perspectives will guide what you think.
And you're always wrong.
True.
Wow.
Like
because you don't know. You don't. What do you know? You don't know anything.
You don't know about Kesha. You don't know about second after. You don't know. You can only base on your previous, which you made the wrong decisions anyway.
True.
No. So
I like that perspective. Yeah, which you made the wrong decisions anyway.
So the only way you can do it is rely on, and that's why I read the Bible. I'm like, I have to understand the mind of God. That's the only thing beautiful. I ask God every day. Because the mind of God is, one, it's good,
pleasing, perfect.
Me, I just want that. This is stacky because I always make the wrong decision. I always panic.
Yeah.
I always think I'm broke. Yeah. You always think nothing is going to happen.
But God has a different plan which you don't even understand.
Kabisa, Romans 8:28, everything is always working out for your good.
Juliani, on this tip that we're on, I want to ask you something. And before we get into Masterpiece, I want to ask you, when you look back...
I think we're discussing Masterpiece. You didn't got any Masterpiece. All this is in the album.
Of course.
Yeah.
But like, when you look at everything that's happened, does it make sense? Like, if you look... When you look at your experiences up to this point, the albums, the music, the Safaricom's, does it make sense?
Bro, makes sense. Like, if it was a script, I would have never written this kind of script. Even if I was to dream about my future when I was 15, when I was in base in my life. Sahi nika kwa mama yangu, sahi napiga guitar hapo, nikirihas, nikifreestyle na mabesa zangu. I would have never imagined.
You couldn't have made this up.
I can't make this. I'm not that creative, bro.
I like that.
Na hiyo kizungu yako mbaya hadi uko kwa boardrooms unapigia akina Vimal Shaw na kupigia akina Mugo Kibati Bob Collins. How, like,
I'm
bro,
just me, bro. I'm Juliani, bro. I'm just Juliani. That's what I'm saying. Nobody has figured it out. The only thing you need is God. As a water peer, they're also trying to figure out how to be better CEOs, be better founders, be better fathers, be better bosses.
Partners.
They're also trying to figure out. There might be one thing that is working for them, but it doesn't mean the rest is working for them. So why we always approach people from that point of view. Like Juicy, I met a guy randomly too. I was having whatever chill mode up like 2 days ago. Nimekaa, and then the guy was about to be chased away from a restaurant. He came to ask for some stuff. Juliani, ni aje. I hope I ski story. Hey, Juliani, ni aje. And then he came and the manager and the owner came like, hey, Juliani, I'm sorry. Or I'm saying, hakuna no macha tuingia naye. So we went back and said, hey, Buddha, sawa, unatakaje? And then the guy was, hey, najua mimi nimefukuzwa job, sina nini, nimetaka kutafuta nini. Nikamwambia, sawa, nashukuru, but ungenipata leo hapa, ungeendaje home for one. Two, inamaanisha, what makes you think just because niko hapa, probably pia mimi natafuta deal. What makes you think? Why do you think I'm going to help you the way you want? And if mimi nimekwambia ndakupatia alafu nikupatia namba yangu, nipigie, nikipata kitu ndakurushia baadaye. Sema no, unajua what about kesho? Mimi sijui kuhusu kesho, mbona niangushie hiyo noma? Me, I can only help you with the 100 shillings ya kufika home. Eventually I gave you 1500 shillings. Ngombe either get phone or whatever. He didn't have a phone and stuff like that. And I'm using this example as this guy wanted me to help him the way he thought I should help him.
Okay.
With an assumption of who he thinks I am. And literally he told, hey, mimi kuna kwa TV, naona wewe ni mbigi. Sema Buddha, what? Probably hata si sina affairs, you know. Like,
Labo umefuliza, bro.
Exactly, no. Na probably I'm just faking it here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a deal to work here. Why do you assume that I'm good? Like, yes, we might look like we have money, but probably don't have cash flow. No, like, probably had a bad day today.
You're human.
Exactly. So I'm like, never see everybody that you see on TV or meet from that, make a mistake of looking at it from that point of view, forgetting that they're still human. You know? So in a manner, the only person that can sort us out is God.
For sure.
And that's what they have to do. They have to try to be good. They have to try to do all these things. So all these people are human. So when I was interacting with them, Bob was a good friend because he was human. I mean, I was treating him as a human. Yeah. I wasn't treating him as a CEO. I wasn't going there pretending so that I can get a deal. No, I was interested in this person because this person is traveled, he has a history, and I want to learn more from this person. I'm curious about him.
You're not trying to get something from the person.
I'm not because what can I get? Because even if I pitch a business, I figured out that even my business is like he has bigger problem than mine.
True.
But if I sit next
Everybody
to him,
has problems, Juliani. Even Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has problems.
I'm sure he has problems.
Big ones.
Yeah, exactly. So
bro, plus a whole country with problems.
Exactly.
So it's not just his problems he has.
So we always approach
sure.
people from that. So nowadays I approach people from a place of solution. Me, I have a solution.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always have solution for people's problems.
So I like the solutions you have, especially Dandora Hip Hop City, especially Taka Taka. I love that you continue to have ideas and they take time. You know, nothing at it, but like beyond music, you've chosen to do social impact and in a big way and back to the communities that you grew up in or you're familiar with. Why these things? Why and what projects are you involved in and why those specifically?
Because when I was big artist and I'm super popular. I'm influential nowadays, but I'm not that popular. You know, so when I was popular, everybody wanted something. They always wanted me to be an ambassador of this and that. And if I'm an ambassador, I get paid. After a year, the program ends and nothing else. And I'm met these people and I'm seeing the potential of what this can do. But the program ends, wamekata funding, imeisha.
Yeah.
So I've worked, if you look across the board, all the artists, I think I've worked immensely with the private sector, I've worked with the NGO sector, I've worked with the government, across the board, individuals. And I learned that they make decisions based on programs, whatever feels nice at that particular time. Nobody, and yet I'm in these communities. Like I love people. I'm in meeting with people every day. These people their problem don't end. So I'm like, for us to impact, we have to create institutions. And we have to create businesses. One. And two, we can't create businesses the way other people are creating businesses. Because when other people are creating businesses, it's not the same ideology as ours. You know, so let's put up some money. Let's try out things. Let's figure it out until it makes sense. It makes sense Leo, it makes sense Kesho, it makes sense, but we'll never lose from it. So we started Dandora Hip Hop City. I bought a building in the dumping site. It making sense now.
Bro, you performed at the dump site. What uko nasema? Uli manage aje kuna nuka.
Huko ni home, bro. It's the most peaceful place you've ever been. I guarantee you, at least to me,
Peaceful.
most peaceful place.
I can go there with iPhone.
Utaibiwa ukienda utaibiwa. But mimi nikienda, me it's my home, bro. Like the reason why it's safe for me is because I built relationships. It's relationship, bro. It's relationship. If you care about the people, people will care about you. The reason why the first and the second day when you go, they will turn against you is because they don't know. They think you're just coming for a day or two.
Umekuja kitourist kucha kidamsa na kangaje kucha palap.
But me wanakama wanaiba vitu niko tu hapo nao.
You go back.
Wanakama wana behave a certain way niko tu hapo nao. And then one day I'm like huyu jamaa probably akona kitu ya kuoffer. And then they start interacting, they start coming up with solutions. If you go to Dandara Hip Hop City, I don't do anything. We have people sorting out. They're the ones right now, they're doing the backyard, all self-initiative, because you have to trust people to do things. But the process of trusting people, because trust is never earned, it's hard. It's given.
You know how hard it is to let go of something, your dream or your vision, like to let delegate. That's hard.
But it's not even yours. Unajidai hapa. We all stewards, bro.
It's God's.
It's never yours, bro.
Like, how did you come to that? How did you come to that surrender? Like, what was the journey to that surrender? Because you know, the way you're speaking, you've honed that. Like you have that clarity of thought that it's not you. But for a person who's trying to learn to surrender, or a person who is still very ngundani ingine nje, how would you say your journey for surrender was?
Because I know where I came from, though. Like everything I've ever achieved, I'm not that bright. Okay, I'm bright, but I'm not that bright, bro. Like I can see myself 20 years ago, 25 years ago, nikitreki Dandora, and I'm stressed. I don't know how to get out of this shithole. Like I can see people dying every day. I can see politicians every day coming in and out. I can see literally my life is in danger. Like I was living in fear for the last 20 years of my life. The first 20 years of my life.
Afraid of what?
Because you don't know what's going to happen. Because you've seen what happens to other people around you. You've seen people just being killed for mistaken identity by police. You've seen people being killed by being thugs. You've seen people being killed by being by mob justice. You've seen people working hard to go to Maisa, and they go to nowhere and come back and turn back to be thugs. You've seen the brightest of the brightest coming back and becoming drug addicts. There is no hope.
So you were
whatsoever.
scared. You were scared shitless of that. Were you scared of that becoming you, or you were scared
because
of what?
Because you're going to. That's the next stop for you. There is no alternative. There wasn't any alternative. You could see yourself.
Were you dreaming though? Like in that scenario, can you have dreams? Can you still dream?
But dream about what?
Like
you have to have,
benzo,
for you to dream. You have to have an alternative. You have to see something to spark something in you.
Okay.
No?
Yes.
So you have to see a Benz.
I had a co-worker used to say, you can't be what you haven't seen.
Exactly. You can never. Even a Benzo is always far off. But if you see a friend of yours having a Benzo, that's different.
Yeah.
Because that's 9 minutes.
It's close enough,
It's close enough. But you don't see that. And the people who, like you've settled for, this is my life. This is what I'm going to get. This is the best I can get out of this life. And then one day unasimama unapata umeanza kurap and everybody stops just to look at you. Then you go back to the drawing board. And I used to spend 6 hours a day, bro, just writing. Because when I rap, all the chicks, all the thugs, everybody is looking at you. I spend hours on my craft, bro. At that particular time, I felt like somebody. I had a reference, I had Ukoflani Momao. Yeah. Finally, I could see people who are like me, who are now on newspapers. They were like dressing up well. We see chicks from this other side of town coming to that side of town. Yeah. They smell different. They look different.
They know deodorant.
Nyi majeshi tu hapo mwana mabangi zenyu, you know. So you now finally see a reference point of what you can become. But that reference point is not it yet. Because I was a really good rapper. Like Buddha was a really good rapper.
You still are?
I'm still a good rapper. People don't try like I'm a really good rapper. No. So when I'm but it didn't give life though. I was just a good rapper.
Stupid question. Music or God? What would you say saved your life? maybe, I don't know. Like,
Go through music, man.
I
Because-
knew it.
Go through me because music.
I need to a stupid question. I don't answer the question for
Buddha,
you.
when I became a rapper, and I was like, I have good rhymes, but everybody else in Mukoflani has good rhymes.
Yeah. Well, how do you stand out? How do you stand out among goats?
Exactly. How do you stand out among gods? Now I changed my rhyme scheme, my delivery, but now it's like I know something that everybody else doesn't know. My parents know God. Buddha, when I started I wanted my lyrics to have life, to breathe life.
Life ni nini?
See, God,
Okay.
you breathe God. When you breathe, when we used to hear stories of msana preach, ama naimba wasona hilika, viweto natembea.
Yes.
Like,
Leprosy, all of these things.
all these things
Yeah.
happen because of what you're saying, because word is life. Na God anasema put his word above his name. Unaona? So now I have life. So I got born again to 205. I'm not saying it has been the easiest whatever, but it's the most beautiful. It wasn't the easiest, but the most beautiful process for me. So by the time there was references about who I can become, but even in my wildest dream, I couldn't imagine doing what I did
What you've done.
and what I've done and what I'm going to do
Amen.
in the future. But the only difference between me and everybody else, bro, is God.
Saja.
Because Saja, I'm surrendered. So I end on whole strings.
I usually say, me, I'm an actor in the movie of Jokia. I'm an actor, and I don't have the script. I don't know who's going to be on set. I just show up, and then they say action, and I'm just acting. And tomorrow is a different scene. Tomorrow is a different shooting. I don't know what's going to happen. I just have to show up. Before you go to KBC, you get picked, you act. That day is your day. May I just show up? Whatever act it is today, we do it. Set book gani tutafanya leo tufanye.
Let me tell you something. One of the most pivotal point of my life was when Kamake Shaka told me that he wanted me to be part of the Koflani Momao. So anybody can tell you anything, but that particular person of authority, recognizing who you are and your skill, even in the smallest space ever, so inamaanisha, if God tells you that you're going to be an extra in a movie, just the simple fact that he's the one who told you means way more than being the starting of that movie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Unaona, like if I'm with God in the whole process, I know just because him recognizing that I can be of value to him, for me is always enough.
I want to ask, in terms of I was wondering something. I lost my question. It was right there. I know what Musyoka. The first song you came out with that we were seeing
Biceps.
Forget even Biceps. When you came out with the Okoflani, you know the video of you in the blue in your blue t-shirt from back.
No, that was Musyoka. That wasn't.
I know that was Musyoka produced it. I'm asking that because I know Musyoka produced that, and then on Time Mentality, Musyoka produced. And throughout your journey, you've been even Masterpiece is mainly Musyoka produced.
Because Musyoka understands, though.
And I want to talk about your relationship with Musyoka because from the beginning, Musyoka's been there. And Musyoka doesn't work with anybody. He's very, very picky. Musyoka doesn't care. It's not about money for.
Let me surprise. I've never told anybody this. I didn't pay for this studio time.
For Masterpiece. But I don't think Musyoka could have taken your money anyway.
He can't, and he told me that, hey, Buddha, I want to do this for you.
But it takes time with Musyoka because he doesn't work. He works at he's a weird. Can you tell us about him? Because
Musyoka,
we can't get him here.
Like nobody can. I don't know Musyoka, man. He's so good at what he does.
Musyoka kuna ngoma za Nyashinsky amekata nazo, ngoma za kila mtu. Like could get Musyoka, unless it's like the decimal projects he's been working on with Akina Bonai and Brian Adra. The fact that you had Musyoka's attention span and time to work with him on this album. I don't know.
Nah, Musyoka, I don't know. I don't want to say history because it's more than that.
Okay.
Musyoka used to send us like 1,000+ beats at Ukoflani Momao. Just Jibambeni. Because we were there before when he was Nanoma.
Yes.
And he was trying to figure this out. And for me, when I was in my first album, I have to be with Musyoka.
Yes.
Because he's not just a good engineer. He makes good beat. But for me, I prefer... Because
you used to work with like in a Rhymex, so many different guys. But
Yeah,
then-
Msioka, and everybody, like Msioka, for me, I want extra.
What's extra?
I want, like literally what I work on every day. When I write my lyrics, I take them a little bit serious. So I think the person working on it should be also see it for what it is. Many producers, I felt like, just wanted to make hits
Yeah.
with a good beat. Me, I don't just want good beat. I want somebody who sees this and turn it to something else. And Msioka beats, I used to listen, alikuwa anacheza tu ngoma, nataka hiyo beat, nataka hiyo, and then it takes time for us to work on one. It takes time, yani, for Msioka. So, and Msioka is the kind of person I'm like, wacha nieke lyrics, wejisort, tutaonana baadaye. And then he comes and adds all these things, and he sees things that I don't see in the lyrics. No.
Yeah.
He adds things that I'm like, I didn't know. Like, for me, one of the best beats ever is Kama CCC.
Yes.
I didn't do much. I went freestyled. Even Biceps is one of my best beats. I just freestyled. Akasort. So I feel like I don't need to worry about that part of when I
You worry on your craft, and he sorts. You have a confidence. He'll deliver on his part.
Yeah, like I know he will feel the energy and the feel, and is grounded enough as a person to see the value of these words.
Because for you, a lot of the words are very important. Because you're not just saying blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You're not just saying any. You want. I think you're very intentional about what you're saying. Is that an assumption?
Buddha, God puts his word above his name. That's how powerful. And the world was built by words. So that's how powerful words are. If I say something to you right now, I just need to say a word, and it will change your mood. It will make you sad. It will make you happy. I just need to say one thing about you today. That's how powerful words.
Can I read something?
Please.
Proverbs 18:21. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit.
Perfect.
For the Masterpiece album, the names confused me, and that's one of the questions I have. I was wondering, you have a name and then you have another. Like, it's like the songs. I used to say, when people send me songs and it's, I knew I was getting hits. When someone sends you hits, they're like, I don't know what this is called, but just play it. I know that's a hit. Like, when someone can name a song, it confuses me. But like, all of the songs on the Masterpiece album, there's like Snobbish, Old Man, but then there's... explain that to people.
No, I mean, first it came out, I was sending the playlist. So Msioka, when he was compiling the whole album, so I send him a playlist and say, the reason why I'm having this song as number one is tell a story. So first is this. It's like a journey.
Okay.
By the time you discover yourself at the end,
you're back on track.
Yeah, so I'm back on track. So by the time you fast, it's a journey of, now you're questioning God. Second, you're like death. Then you're like this society.
Yeah.
Then you're like relationships.
Yeah.
And then your politics. And then you're... now it makes sense now. So that's how I like that journey to be. So when you listen to the album, of course, you can listen to one song and it will stand out. But for me, I feel like if you listen to the first song, to the second, the third, whatever, the journey makes sense, to me, at least in my mind. But every song can stand on its own. But if you have gone through stuff in your life and you need understanding of those things,
yes,
that's the only thing I need.
Yes.
So you just need understanding. You need for you to make sense out of relationship. I just need you to make.
Yes,
it's supposed to elaborate a little bit more about what you're going.
The specific, I'll say like two things that you said that, for me, hit me really hard. I'll just, okay. So for example, you talked about after you die, people won't even come and put flowers on your grave. Like, you didn't say it like that, but there's a bar where you specifically said, okay, people will be sad, but then they'll move on. And like, I've lost friends, I've lost family members, and you realize, okay, as a family, you'll be left grieving. People's lives move on.
Is it simultaneously where I say,
yes,
they turned their back against my grave?
Yes. And then there's also the one you talk about, ama kuna one phone call. Unajua kuna wase, there's a place in life you can get to where any problem can be solved with a phone call.
You need the song on politics.
Yes.
Yeah, where like
But there's very deep things you piece there where it's like, okay, bam, I can feel it, see it, hear. I can feel it, hear it, and feel like it's really, it touches nerves. Like what you're saying touches nerves consistently throughout the project. But like you were saying, like for you it was more of like a story you're explaining. How long were you writing?
First of all, it's like things that I went through for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
My interpretation about life, relationships. I had a breakup.
From 2014 to 2019.
2014 to 2019, yeah. So of course I was active doing gigs, doing what, but I was a little bit. I call it my moment of transition to who I am now. Because I was at 2014, I was Juliani.
Yeah. You exponential Juliani.
I was Juliani, you know. And so like I was Juliani. So I closed off a street. Like I've done things that I can imagine.
NSC stock, yes.
I've woken up, did something. I did something with Google. We took 5 funds to Mombasa, did a 5,000.
I remember when you were doing those Google Hangouts. I remember the time you were in Mombasa, you're in a hotel room, you were saying, Ata kulala, mwezi kuona. You were like, exactly. I remember that.
We did that, 5,000 people in the eve of Christmas.
You even did a tour where you were going to different places.
I did that. I've done 15 universities, paid for it all by myself. Like I've done things, and I was Juliani, and then I was like, no, I'm not Juliani. 2014, like a identity crisis.
What was it like being Juliani? Like, you know, where you can't. I'm sure, like, you can't even. You could everybody. As in, my dread. Hey, bro, my bro has dreads. He does this because of. As in, I grew dreads so he could do the Juliani. As in, when you're Juliani. And you talked about something, and maybe I can even preface this, the difference between popularity and influence. Because you said you're not popular, but you're influential. But you know the difference.
I know
there's kids who come and they're popping now, but they don't know popping is not forever. Big G, you
like, but that's based on, I started music when I was literally 20 years old. So it took a decade for me to be Juliani. So the only thing I was working on is to be Juliani.
And what was Juliani in your head? That in your head, what was Juliani?
No, I wanted to be the biggest. I remember the first when I got a phone call to be signed to my first record label. I told my manager then, I was telling her I want to be the third biggest artist in the country. Because at that particular time,
who was number 1 and 2?
Juakali was the 8. Like, in my opinion, I don't think there's ever been any the big artist than Juakali.
Okay.
That level, they have never been.
Siri.
They have never been a big artist, celebrity level. In my opinion, I think he, and maybe Prezo, but I think he introduced the whole celebrity level thing. Anyway, so that time was Juakali, and I was hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And hip hop was considered hip hop that can't transcend.
But then you brought live band.
I brought live band. I brought hip hop, like hip hop, my mainstream, and I spoke about issues mainstream, and it became popular mainstream. Yeah. Like every music that was mainstream at that particular time, the truth and the matter was bubblegum stuff.
True.
Name beyond Ukoflani Momau. Name any artist that brought heavy issues, heavy lyrics, well done song progressions and stuff, live band stuff, name any, and I'll wait. So in my mind, and we haven't talked about even now, I'm the one opening the because initially artists used to wait for phone calls to come for them to get endorsements and stuff. I used to do presentations to get endorsements.
Why? What made you even go that approach?
Because I thought people needed to see what I had ideas for. No. So I used to knock doors.
So you're not going to wait for them to go home and go to deal?
No. Me, I used to
pick your biz.
Using the move, before I didn't. And nowadays I don't wait as such.
Okay.
I only pick what I think is important. So I had all these things that I wanted to do. And I worked on being Juliani alone. I didn't work on being myself.
Okay. So were you focused on Julia?
I focused on being the biggest artist that I wanted to be.
Okay.
And because being the biggest artist, like for you to get things done in this country, you have to be a politician, have a lot of money, or have a lot of influence. That's how you get things done. Mm-hmm. So I felt like for me to get things done, even to be a man, I need to be Juliani. So even to get the chick that you want, to get the car that you want, to get the respect you want, you just need to be Juliani. Juliani gets you Juliani gets to open the door, but doesn't keep the door closed inside. When you're inside, you need to be a man. So I realized that I wasn't a man.
How long does it take you to realize this? How do you, when do you realize, hey, I've got this, but I'm lacking a lot of, I'm lacking me.
You can know that through when you're in a relationship with women.
There's a woman, there's a girl I was dating once. She said something, and I thought she was the stupid thing she ever said. She said, I need to be in a relationship to see parts of myself that I can't see on my own. I'm like, what? That's dumb.
Oh,
and
cheesy. It makes sense, yeah.
I don't understand, but like she was able to. She was saying like when she's in a relationship, there's parts of her I know better than she can on her own. I don't know.
I think let me explain that better.
Okay.
When you're in a relationship, there are ways, because you're two people, there are things that someone can trigger in you because of the intimacy that you guys, or the close proximity that you guys are at, that will trigger things in you that you probably don't know, that would stir up in you. You get?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So if let's say with Jokia and we're together, and let's say a problem arises, but it's a problem that could have not arisen if I was solo, if I didn't have Jokia to think about. We come, there's this challenge that we have, and I have to think about him and what he's going to say or what he's going to do or his reaction, and I'm not prepared to deal with him and deal with me at the same time, you know. So yeah,
makes sense.
I'd be able to do it by myself.
In the love song, one of the love songs I talk about that actually. You know, the love song Just Another Tuesday.
Yes.
I spoke about that. So, I think a relationship, any kind, it can be female, it can be
friendship,
even with your mother, anybody. Yeah.
Exactly. So I got a lot of things done by being Juliani, but not by being a man, by just being a good person. You just need to be a good person. I was a good person, but I wasn't a good person, you know. And like generally, if you ask people, Juliani is a good person, whatever, but I wasn't a good person.
You were playing a character, maybe.
Not really. I felt like I was escaping. So I was escaping who I was. Remember, for 20 years, I was this guy.
From the ghetto.
From the ghetto, brother. And then for another 10 years, I've created another monster. I've never dealt with the 20 years. I've never dealt with the 10 years.
Yes.
So I've never even...
You're just moving.
I'm just moving. And I thought I was and that's the problem where we get saved. We're thinking God will solve that part. But
please tell them.
No. Like God only comes... we can't solve, but I feel like we have to separate things in 4 levels. We have to separate the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the mental. So for me, I meditate. I do my meditation probably minimum 15 minutes.
Okay.
I can do an hour. Just to sort out the mental.
Someone's been telling me, just clear your head. Just 2 minutes. Even it's hard to just be quiet with.
Yeah, separate the pieces. So because we always think if we sort out one, we sort out the rest. So if you go for exercising, ati unapiga gym daily unadhani you've sorted, you haven't sorted out your mental.
Nothing. Hujafanya kitu hapo.
Unaona, you haven't sorted your emotional. So unapata msee ako na kifua kubwa na anajamingi tu ovyo ovyo. Unaona? Ama msee ni mdogo but anajamingi ovyo ovyo. We think we are good people. We are not good people.
Kwanza, sorry to cut you short, but that point where you said that a lot of people believe that once you've given your life to Christ and everything, then everything just, you transform and you cease to be a human being, or you cease to stop being angry or stuff like that.
I even think people get saved to cover up.
Thank you. To cover up their truth and their emotions.
But you have to accept those things and deal with them.
Exactly.
Before you can actually be in that peace.
There are people who have... That's why going for
therapy
matters.
Yeah.
So much.
It has nothing to do with you. Your spirituality is different. Because ukidai body yako sitabaki.
Bas, what I normally tell people is, if you get, let's say, if I break my hand, I won't just come and say, God, fix this for me. Like, return my joint together.
Yes.
I'd have to go to a hospital, get treated, go through the whole physio and do that work. He can help me through the pain.
You can pray for the
exactly.
healing, but you have
through
to do other
it.
things.
Exactly. Yes. But I still have, and I have to feel the pain. Like I have to feel the pain to grow. Yeah. It's the same mental. It's the same emotional. If you don't sit, it's something that I keep on telling people. If you don't sit and experience your emotions in its entirety and have the human experience, then you're lying to us, and you can't claim
even God won't make sense.
Exactly.
Personally, I feel.
Yeah, even Jesus at Gethsemane, he cried blood. He ambiad God, bro, as in this thing is so... Mind you, he was God.
Initially,
but he said,
that's the problem I had with gospel music.
Yeah.
Because you are a 20-year-old so much energy, so much honiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hakuna mtu anakuambia about it.
Yeah.
Wasa anakuambia tu
Kanyagia your story. Utende hell.
Kanyagia.
Yeah.
Like right now, even if by the time you're 30 years old, you never figured out anything. You never worked on it.
Yeah.
So you continue lying to yourself. You're
Juliani, you're saved. You're everything, but you're still struggling, bro.
And that is something you touched on when we were early on in the interview. You said that even these people who we are looking at as having perfect lives, there's parts of their life that are not. You might have business to put together, but maybe your personal.
You're good at business. Yes. You're not good at people relations. You're not good at.
Yes.
But in my opinion, is that you have to sort. First of all, the spiritual side. The beauty of the spiritual side. You enter heaven. Because grace inakukava. You kwenda heaven hakuna noma, but we're talking about quality life.
There you go.
So, and I feel like even if you haven't sorted out the rest, and you're not trying to do the rest so that you don't do sin, because none of us
will always sin.
No, so it's not about sin.
Yeah.
It's about when you're talking even like for me, spirituality makes sense now more than ever, because I know how to unclog.
Okay.
And I know what's you can recognize what's good, what's not, because you've unclogged. I can recognize when my emotions are off.
Yeah.
Hey, Buddha, hapo nitachoma. Natulia. I know my triggers. I know what. No. I might fall sometime, but I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like 2014 when I had a relationship with when I had one relationship, I had a child.
Yeah.
Mother of my child and stuff like that, and we eventually broke up and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm a good person, I'm Juliani. No, but she thinks I can be a good person. I need to be this to her. You know, like, Buddha, but I'm
Juliani.
But I'm Juliani. I'm still Juliani. You know, so, but later now I can realize, hey, you need help. So, spirituality became Nini. I started working mental, emotional, and physical.
But as a man, how do you accept it? You know, as a man, if you're going through shit, it's hard to talk about it. Who do I talk to? And then now you're a celebrity who everybody knows. So if you go to therapy, for example, like my brother went to the therapist, and then the therapist was telling other people his story. So now imagine you're going for therapy and you're Juliani. So like, how do you? I've
done 1 or 2 therapy. Now I have more men around me than before. But some of these things you have to go. The journey you have to walk on your own. You have to try daily. You try this, it doesn't work. Started my meditation thing 2017. Now I'm way better. Now if I get in meditation mode, I go straight in.
Okay.
Before I used to like brain yangu iko kila pale for any mashetani gani. Now I go in 10 minutes, I'm good.
For real.
That's beautiful.
And it's just silence.
That's skill. That is skill.
Buddha,
that is skill.
It's not
right
silence.
There.
It's
what is it?
Is because it has nothing to do with.
How do you turn off the noises? My mind can't.
But you can't turn them
off.
off.
The idea is not to turn off the noises.
What's the idea?
The idea is to organize the noise. So to know that the noises are there, and then over time you'll know to panga the noises. So you know this is noise, this. So first of all, the best way of starting it is by doing inaitwanga hii ni your present inaitwaje
yoga.
Yoga inaufala. Sorry. Yoga ni physical. Yoga si emotional, ni physical.
Breathing exercises.
Ni being there's a name for it, not being present. There's it's
mindfulness.
Mindfulness. That's the word.
Yes.
Mindfulness. So mindfulness is basically accepting every noise you hear and feeling every part of your body.
Yes.
And closing your eyes. So inamaanisha usikia nduthi imepita unaiaccept hiyo ni nduthi imepita. If you feel
then you let
get
it go.
a tick, you get it. You see. So you're organizing thoughts. It's organizing and acknowledging every thought.
Okay.
Ingine, you're trying to shut thoughts. You can't shut thoughts. You just need to recognize thoughts. And then over time,
because these days when you want to turn off that thought to go away, but it's not about turning
you recognize
it
off.
Okay.
You recognize it. When yani sana nimekuona, when yani nimekuona, and then after
high
a while,
temptation. High temptation
of,
like I'm saying the thoughts. You're saying high temptation.
Temptation ikuja kwa thoughts na kuja kwa body. Unaona? So once after you realize nini, and then one day over time you'll now say
it becomes part and
let
parcel
me focus
of
on this thought. So now I can focus on only this thought.
Okay.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm acknowledging, but I'm just focusing on this. And I can get back to you 2 minutes, 2 seconds, but I'll focus on. That's why if you do the breathing thing, you breathe in and out, your thoughts go everywhere. You acknowledge it, but then you return it back to breathing. So that's mindfulness. So you do that. That's emotionally, physically, it helps. Over time, that is. It's not a day immediate thing.
It's really not.
So for me, nikiingia in a session nime lost. Jana, I did 20 minutes. I'm like, 20 minutes in
It's
10
not
minutes.
enough.
It makes sense, you know. And so I today I probably do 30 minutes.
Okay.
But I normally used to struggle and do. And it's the same happen to the same happens to your
deep state.
Your needs. Deep state. The same happen to your physical needs, your bodily needs.
Yeah.
So every time you want to have sex, it's just a release because there's pressure.
True.
You want to release. So you think it's just because you feel that check. No, you feel umanzi, bro. Probably umanzi what I'm feeling in the morning. No,
True.
no. It's just a release. Your body wants to release.
Yeah.
Because the energy, the pressure has nowhere to go. So the best way of doing it is circulate the energy. It's energy, but it's misguided energy.
True.
So you have to circulate the energy in your body, and it feels so powerful, man. You don't even have to.
Because you don't have to feed every craving. I used to think you have. I'm craving. Let me feed my craving. And then I realized I'm being controlled by this craving. This want is driving me, and I should be the one.
Acknowledge the craving, bro.
Acknowledge it.
Acknowledge that it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the book, probably at least a book, one of the things we do is acknowledge the craving and then guide it to where you want it to be.
So now channel that energy.
Channel an energy. Yeah. So even if I make a mistake right now, is a sound mistake, and I was like, okay, I made that mistake, and I'll recognize it. The issue is that making a mistake and not recognize that is a mistake, or making a decision and not recognize that is a decision.
Okay.
Or repeating the same decisions in different forms. Yani like a
Repeating is
vicious.
okay.
No, like I mean a vicious cycle. Like because you can't acknowledge that this is a mistake, then you keep on making
it. Will always come back.
Exactly.
But if it comes back, you'll know it. Ni wewe. Sawa, tuko familia.
Okay.
Ni wewe. And then
have we met before?
Have we met before? By the time it nini itakuwa wewe tunakujua, you're a familiar friend. Let's put it kando.
Yes.
Now let's focus on it. So I'm not saying I've figured it out fully, but for me this thing helped access. But now I have no pressure of being Juliani. I'm Juliani in Christ. Now I'm becoming a man.
Juliani, 2 questions. The first one is, in 2015, you released a song called Masterpiece and a video. And that was right after Exponential Potential, the album. But we don't get Masterpiece, the album, until 2019. So when you did that song that long ago, and you even the video, and then we don't get... Was it? I guess how did that song inspire?
Yeah, so
I was really trying to figure out. Okay,
every one of my albums I release. Every one of my albums come from the previous album.
Okay.
So Masterpiece was a song in the Exponential Potential album.
Yes.
Exponential Potential is a song in Pulpit Question.
Yes, album. And Mutamentality. Okay, except for Mutamentality being the first one. I guess.
Mutamentality is from actually another song I did. Pulpit Question is from another song I did.
Okay.
Initially.
So that's something that's okay. So is the next album going to be one of these? We don't.
I hope not. It's got complicated sound. So I hope to have something else. But the words, the is a titles need.
Yes.
Intense.
Okay. My other question was, in terms of how you're releasing your albums now, and this is, don't you feel like you're limiting how many people will hear it? And I know you don't want everybody to hear it, but like, I love the website concept. I love that you know your customer and your consumer, but less people will hear it because you've made it exclusive.
But
that doesn't bother you.
Do you want to be a voice or a noise? You just need to choose, man.
Hey.
You just have to choose. There's only one Malcolm X.
Wow.
True. And I just read the Malcolm X book.
And there's only one. Do you want to a voice or a noise? Everybody's making noise. And everybody want to be seen. Buddha, me, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be felt. I want to influence. I want to touch lives. The conversation that we've had, either you like it or not, the conversation that we had today will change your life.
Mad.
And everybody will listen. I guarantee you. It will change somebody's life. So do you want to be a voice or a noise?
So now, something that's... So 3 months ago in June, I was deep. I'm enjoying the music. I'll tell you, me personally, your music got me through a lot of tough times. throughout my journey, whether I was in high school, whether I was in America, wherever I was, your music has been very important in my life. Especially the fact that I can continue to listen and I can still find reasoning and message within what you're saying. And its relevance in my life has not left. But I was upset when people started talking about you about shit that's not about music. And I was like, I'm like, okay, now, and that's why I guess it's tricky because now you're in the noise, not because you've put yourself there, but now you're stuck in a place where it's like, okay, people are not talking about the music.
But
They're talking, but can you? How do you direct them? I guess you think it's part. You think God understands what this is? Okay, God of course understands. Like this will make sense.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense though, bro. Because like all the noise is necessary. Like it still means that I'm relevant. It still means that people care, or people. But the truth, for me, I learned a lot of things when all this thing was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that people are hurting more. And go back to Kolo's word, people are unwell. So they are always trying to figure out where to throw that dump. Whatever is going through their hearts, their minds, they want to dump it somewhere. So the easiest way to dump it is on social media.
And we're all going through things, but our things are not being amplified.
Nobody, and like everybody's going, but people are not being seen. People want to be seen. People want to be seen that they're hurting.
You know, there's artists who would love this to be there. They would want that attention and that limelight on them, even if it's for negative reasons. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense.
I don't know me. I just learned some beautiful lessons throughout this, and I'm glad that I went through it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that I went through it. But I've learned so much, and even solidify or justify why I have to do music, why a masterpiece album is important, why I have to release a book. And I'm particularly concerned about men.
Why?
Okay, I can't use that word.
In the last, we had a show. We had a show where we talked about in the last 3 months, 500 young people have taken their lives through suicide. We're struggling. We're not talking about issues. As a people, Gilbey's seems to be the easier solution than saying, "Hey, I'm not okay." So and it's really okay. How do we talk about these?
There's nothing wrong with the alcohol and stuff. Nothing in this world is bad.
In moderation.
It's your meaning around that thing. Even this, you can use this to kill somebody, no?
See, this is how people are. If you look at people like in Rwanda and other, when violence has happened, even in Kenya, they use radio and they use platforms like these to channel that negative.
It's how you use it. So, but I feel like people are hurting. People don't know what's going to happen about now, about their future, about themselves, their identity. They are stuck. So what they do, they project that hurt. And we have social media. We have all these things that they can use to dump those hurt.
Yeah.
So now I felt a little bit sorry for people. Yeah.
But lakini ni ngumu. Okay, hata kama niko na mashida, sitaki uniambie siko sawa. Okay, people are hurting, but they don't want to accept they're hurting, and they don't want to be told they're hurting.
They don't know
so
they're hurting.
How do you package a message how do you package the message that because your music resonates? When you say utawala nikonja, and we are all understanding. How do you put it in song?
People just need a hug, man, and then once they hug, the truth, and people just want to be seen. Yeah. Just tell them I see you.
Whether it's your mother seeing you or your girlfriend seeing you.
You just need to be seen. You just need to be told you matter. And that's why I'm like, I remember that's what we used to do mtaani. You wanted to be the rowdiest, the most difficult, the most gangsterest, the most violent person you can ever see, because you just want to be seen. Until somebody falls in love somewhere, and then all of a sudden jamaa anaweza kuwa soft.
Yeah.
Anaweza kuwa msafi, anaoganga. Unaona, like it's always people just want to be seen, bro. And all these people that are spewing hatred on social media and stuff, apart from the ones that are paid to do that, the majority, people are unwell, spiritually unwell, emotionally unwell, and they just need to be seen. And they just want somebody to tell them, "Hey, I see you, man. I hope you're okay." That's all. They don't need money. They can always figure out their way around getting money. So you can't use that to wasome sota to do all this. we use that as an excuse. Poverty is number 3 of the reason why people do what they do. Number 3, number 4.
What's number 1 and 2?
Number 1 is identity. People they haven't figured out who they are. They're trying to figure out who they are, and they have all this thing piled up in there. They don't know how to do circular emotions, where whatever hatred or whatever dump or whatever uchafu iko kwa heart yako, iko kwa brain yako, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know but to spew it out. Me, I know how to do. I can do the circular, I can meditate, I can pray, I can do all these things. They don't know what to do, so it's not their fault.
Do you write music? Okay, how does music come to you? Does it come like I can write bars in the shower, but like for you, is there a process?
I write any thought that comes to my mind. Like if you go to my phone, I probably have content for the next album.
Okay.
I just write it. So it can be a line, it can be a word, it can be a verse, it can be whatever. And then when I get a inspiration about the next conversation, I pick one. That's why each word is punchy. Yeah,
because I feel like it's bar. I feel like you're writing a bar here, and then you come back and you write, because it's bars on bars. It's like bar,
because
bar,
the
bar,
whole
bar.
idea is that if it has to make sense in one line.
Okay.
Or a truth has to be packaged in one line, and you go and break it down to whatever you feel like, and then come back. You can use it for the whole thing, but if you don't have 3 minutes to listen to the whole thing, I want you to capture you in one line.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there songs that you write and they're so deep that you don't put out? Are there songs that is anything you're afraid to share with the world in music? Because I feel like you're very vulnerable and you're very honest in your music. Is there stuff you don't put out?
Yeah, there are songs I didn't put in this.
Mm-hmm.
Some like deep thoughts, some complicated thoughts about the world, theories.
Yeah.
But releasing Inheritance Yakamba in the album Masterpiece was one of the songs that I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Everybody was listening. When I was recording a DJ Octave, I'll be, hey, Buddha.
That's a very important song, bro.
He relaxed, like saying, hey, Buddha, uko sure? He stopped the session. And then he's like, hey, Buddha, uko sure? Uko sure, bro?
I think that's an important song.
The song was, because every time we talk about mental health and suicide and whatever, it always comes from blaming the victim of the reason why he did what he did or she did what she did. We always use death as a finality, or is the worst thing that can ever happen to human beings, and it's not. Like living a life with no purpose is the worst thing that you can ever do in your life. Death is not. No, and I wanted to. And it's a song that I described as a person who was going through this thing, but I didn't give a solution. I didn't say Yesu ndio atakujibu maswali. And I didn't say that. I didn't say enda kwa psychiatrist or therapy.
Yeah.
I just described this person, thought process.
I like what you did with this album. No features. That's another question I spent a lot of... On the 10th list, I'm like, wait, I've been listening to straight Juliani, hakuna mse mwingine.
Nick, a friend of mine, one of the guys who supported me from initially, and it was Nick. Nick told me, maybe the next album or the second album or the third or fifth or sixth, but this one we haven't seen you for a while, so we just want a full you.
Okay.
That one's the second is that for me, I vibe. So I didn't interact with as many artists as possible that period of time.
Okay.
So I value vibe relationships more. So I don't just get you into a song because you have to do a song. I rather do the chorus with my sauti mbaya kuliko.
Ai sauti yako mbaya your sauti mbaya is not sauti. My dad used to say in church you can sing. In church the best place to learn how to sing is in church because nobody want to tell you you're a bad singer in church. But I forget even the church aspect. The way it's not about your voice and how you sing. It's about the emotion
and the emotion around.
Yes,
and that's what I figured. Because even when I was doing Utawala, I was like, nobody can sing this chorus. I'm trying to figure out who can sing this. They can sing it because they are good singers.
Yeah,
but they can't bring out
with the emotion
that I felt I needed to be done.
And I think that when you sing, it's not about your singing.
Nothing to do with
it's about
singing.
The emotion.
It's about the emotion that I always feel like, hey, Buddha, hakuna mtu anaweza toa hii emotion. And I really want somebody to do. There's a way I just want it to be done. I can't get somebody. There are amazing singers out there, but I can't get that somebody to capture that emotion.
Okay.
Or in the words. So, and even for you to bring it out means we have to be sort of in the same thought process, or you're a little bit ahead of me, so you know what I'm talking about. You have to be a little bit deeper into the issue more.
Okay.
For you to bring it out.
Based on that, is there anyone in Kenya that you would like to work with that you haven't?
No, there's a lot of artists, Buddha, that I like to work
Can you
with.
give us some names, please?
Okay, I don't have names, but but like the reason why you guys exist is because there's amazing artists in this country.
True.
I like amazing artists. So probably my next album should be more playful, more easy.
Can you work with Nyashinsky? I feel like
Nyashinsky is amazing, man.
I feel like in terms of going there mentally, and I saw when you asked for K the Great, Faki sent you. I thought we would hear K the Great on this album because at that time you were looking for producers and you were looking for. But like I feel like you and Nyashinsky would make music that would be out of this. You already made. I don't know.
Nyashinsky is
but
good.
I don't know. I don't know who would be on your vibe. That's why I was wondering if there's anyone you would even vibe with.
I'm trying to figure out who can be my vibe because I take things serious. I really take things serious. Like me, and I take personal sana. Like words, I put like I take things personal, man. Like if I can't listen to that song over and over by myself and I enjoy,
you wouldn't put it out.
I wouldn't put it out, man. So I don't just want to do good songs. I've done good. Like from the word go, like my songs were always intentional. And I feel like
Friend Request, one of my favorite songs, because at the time when Facebook came out, you know, we want to be friends with I feel like you're able to talk about what is happening in society in a way that boom.
Friend Request got me one of my best friends now.
Yeah, that's it.
Like it's a song that, I mean, for nothing whatsoever, like one of my best performance songs to perform. The track performance is really dope, but got I was like trying to figure out how do I explain all this in the simplest form possible. And references always matter. So using what people are using at that particular time, wordings, whatever, it was easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I've kept you here
To
extra long.
eh?
Sorry.
Back 9
you talk about what's happening in society. I want to know, in terms of politics, you've never aligned yourself with this political side or that political side, but you talk about the issues that us as a people are going through. What do you think about where Kenya is right now? Like, I don't know, I have my view on Kenya. What's your view on what's happening in Kenya right now? And what can we do better? What can we? What's your thinking?
My opinion is that we are getting the patriarchs, for lack of a better word, are dying, and you have a new branch, a new whatever of leaders.
Are they any better?
They are worse.
That's what I'm scared of.
They are worse because now because the patriarch, what they had was that they were grounded somehow. Msi alikuwa tu a learned guy, so he had a good intention, or they cared.
Akina Tomboya.
They cared about something. They walikuwa tu na maissues zao pia, but they cared about something. They were grounded. There was something happening in Africa. There was something happening in the world. There was something bigger than them.
Yeah.
Now the people that we have, the new people that we have, it's more about them more than any other thing. So the patriarch and the last, I don't want to mention him, but the patriarch, this is the last run for patriarchs. Any politician that you knew from Kibaki's side, like the old ones, the Kibakis, the Moi days.
Akina Kamodo are gone, Akina Ntimama are gone, Akina Matiba are gone. We had the guys who, the foundation.
They were a little bit grounded. Now the new ones are grounded. You have never seen them anywhere. They have never fought for anything. I even tweeted today, actually. These guys, you've never seen them anywhere. They have never fought for anything. And the people who are in the INGOs and people who we thought that fought for the election, the new constitutions and stuff like that, they got compromised.
The hope we had.
No. So the only people we have is like people like you and me who can neutralize the whole thing. But the beautiful thing about it is also we have a new generation of young people who thinks differently, who don't value things that these guys value. They don't value because you have a big car. We have the majority, of course, from the rural areas, from the whatever. But we have a unique, and a unique set of young people who see things differently. I think that they are the hopes, and us, of course, because we are like the bridge of those. Because I was in the Moi days, I was in the Kibaki days, I'm in the Uhuru days. No. So literally, I've seen across the board and how beautiful the country has transitioned to what it is.
Yeah.
So my interpretation of what the country is, I'm from a positive side more, because I know when things were Moi days.
Yeah.
I don't know about the economics, the big numbers, but I know ulikuwa Nyayo house now you have to pay how much to get a passport. Nowadays you get in 3 days without paying anything.
You just pay on eCitizen and it's done.
Exactly. So those small
you see the improve. You see Kenya getting better. Abate everything. There's negative. We can focus on negative, but there's parts of Kenya that are getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more optimistic about what Kenya is going to be in the future, but I'm aware also of the challenges that we're going to face.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's important? I'm going to ask three different. What's important to you? The entrepreneur, the musician, the father. What's important to you right now? Like from where you're sitting and what you're looking at and prioritizing. What's important to you?
God, man, Holy Spirit, man. Once I figure out that relationship, the rest will make beautiful sense, man.
Okay.
The God part, if the God part makes sense, the father, the entrepreneur always makes sense. Like it's the most, and that's what I figured out. So in my 3 levels of what I was talking about earlier, spirituality, mental, physical, emotional, you can always study and go around the 3.
Mm-hmm.
This one takes digging inside more. The rest are outside. You can always learn from somebody else. But this other one takes individual effort and individual relationship with God. So that's what I'm focusing on more. The father part, the entrepreneur part, the creative part, all iko tu sawa tu. It will make sense.
Considering how hard you work and what kind of perfectionist you are you hard on yourself? I feel like you would be hard on yourself. Like the way I'm seeing, like, how do you?
Nah, I'm the easiest guy. Like me, I try not to do meetings. I try not to go leave the house.
Really?
Me, I don't do shit.
So what's your day? Like, what's a day in? What's your day? What's your day?
I don't do
like?
nothing, bro.
Actually,
I don't do anything. And not from like I don't do anything. Like I'm not that busy the way people want to make it. I prioritize and focus on what the main thing is the main thing. Okay. I don't try not to be online, on my social media. I try to meditate on the word. Like literally I meditate on the word. I'd rather sit and meditate on this verse that I read today than do anything, because I know after that the level of energy that will come out of it. So I'm able to create more, because that's where I was. 20 years ago, 20 years ago when I was a young rapper, that's the only thing I had. I had a lot of time to create. Yeah. And it created all these things 10 years after. So same thing I want to do now. Spend as much time alone by myself with a loved one and something, and create. Because implementing nowadays is easier. You just need to delegate, put up system. Yeah. We never learned that before.
What did you learn that? I don't know if you went to school, university or not, but like you are a business person who's doing biashara, employing people, building platforms. Where did you learn? I know Kanairo is Harvard Business School itself, but like where did you learn?
From people. I interact with people, man. I'm a sponge. Like I've picked up 1 or 2 things from here, and like I'm a sponge. Yeah.
So for you, have you gone along? You've just been picking.
1, I am a sponge. 2, I have courage to do.
You're not afraid. Okay.
If I have an idea, I'll do it immediately. I'll put up my money. I won't call anybody. If I have to, yes, I'll do that. But I'll put up my money, put up my time, do it. And it doesn't have to succeed. I just need to have done it. And for sure, it will accumulate.
So for you, you're not afraid to try new things or jump and like, okay, this is the idea I have.
I feel it's a privilege to even have that thought to be dropped in your mind and your heart. Mm-hmm. Like it's whoever did that, like they trusted you so much to even give you that. No. So for you to just waste it, it can be the most stupidest idea. It doesn't have to succeed, bro, and it doesn't even have to succeed in my lifetime.
But you try it.
I just need to do it. I did it, and I honored, and the only thing the only thing that is consistent in the Bible is obedience. Obedience. The reason why you set up all this is you obeyed.
God told me, leave your job, go do this. He didn't tell me what I would eat. He didn't tell me there was no rent, there was no office, there's no like it didn't, and I just bought a one-way ticket and did it.
Your bed.
It's never lacked.
The Bible says, and in the Romans, I hope I remember that. Abraham was fully persuaded. That word, no name. Fully persuaded that God will do what he had promised. I need to look for that scripture. It's Romans probably 4 something.
But to our homework, please, I hope you're writing all of these Bible verses down.
Fully persuaded. Being fully persuaded. Mi nikiwa hapo bro, mi hakuna kitu mtaniambia. When I'm fully persuaded that God is in control. Fully. Moja saa zingine you have doubts here and there, no? But you need to be fully persuaded. So obedience is the only thing that will get us out of this.
Juliani, because of how you've chosen to package and sell your music in terms of its exclusivity, how do you get... So now there's someone like me, for example. I'm going to go find the Masterpiece album, listen to it, and tell someone else about it. But like, I guess in your mind, or I don't know if it's in your mind or in your plan, how do you get... You have to change your business model because you can't do boom play exclusive.
No, we can't do that.
So now, I guess, what's your business model when it comes to this?
So one of the things that I did in when I was coming back and trying to do, even I was struggling musically, is that I was never in control of my music. I couldn't.
Because the first album you were signed?
I was signed. The second one I was a little bit in control. Actually, after my second album, I was a little bit in control, but I didn't put up systems, or I didn't know what I'm offering when it comes to business model. I thought I needed to make phone calls, do a tour, make money from tours.
Yeah, Skiza Tune, whatever. I don't know what.
There was no money there. Skiza Tunes, there is money. We make a living out of it, but it's not that yet. And so I have to identify all my revenue streams. So one of the things I had to do, I had to just list down what I want, what I'm a revenue. What I make
YouTube,
exactly. YouTube, I don't make money, and if I make money, it's not all that because I'm not I'm not goofy around to make big numbers, you know.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm not saying that you have to be goofy, but one of the main things that I wanted to do is that I wanted to first of all create a community. And so we created a coin, our own currency on the platform.
Okay.
We said, I wanted to grow with you as a fan. So it means if you invest 1,000 shillings, if you buy an album 1,000 shillings, that's more of an investment, not a purchase.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, can you be, for example, a subscribe and give us 10,000? And then 10,000 a year, it means you can give this much albums, this much merchandise free, you can get this. But at the same time, you can access whatever I access as Juliani. If I get to a hotel and a restaurant and I get things cheaper or free, you can get the same. If I want to invest in property somewhere, I want to invest in shares and stocks and stuff like that, let's do it together. No, let's grow together, because after years of you buying my album and doing all these things, I'm the only one who's been benefiting from it. You know, like I've become Juliani.
What's in it for us?
Exactly. I mean, for a fan, there's it's like supporting a football. It has nothing to do with making money or becoming whatever. But there's something you gain from it. The community, when you're having fun with friends, you get to connect with people. So I'm like, it has nothing to do with just the money. It has everything to do with growth. So I know certain things on growing emotionally, growing spiritually. Can I be sharing that constantly to you?
Okay.
Give me the responsibility. Nikaa unaanzisha church sort of.
Yeah.
Give me the responsibility to dig deep into the deepest and the darkest place of this world and whatever, and God, and I come and feed it to you because you kuna mashida zako you're trying to figure out. At the same time, can I even grow you emotionally? Can you even own the name Juliani?
Okay.
I don't need to own it fully. Can you own it? Can it benefit? Like literally being a fan, can it benefit you?
Okay.
Beyond financial, of course.
Yeah.
So that's the experiment and the thought we were putting into all this. We haven't figured it out yet, but we were trying. People are paying membership to be Juliani Jeshi.
The people have numbers.
We had numbers.
Yeah.
We had So I was experimenting. We had partners who were like, no, as Juliani Jeshi, we have an ideology. So we won't work with you just because you're a big brand. We'll work with you because you share values. So those are the kind of things we wanted to implement. Because we used to make decisions because umesota, ama because you want to be the artist who get there. But I'm like, no, do you care about child labor? Do you care about the quality, paying entrepreneurs after a month, not 60 days?
Do we share values and ideologies?
Exactly. So that's the only thing that we have been trying to implement through the website and through everything.
And when I said business model, because I see how you've packaged, for example, you'll sell physical copies of your three.
Exactly.
You're not using the same. You're in your own. You're not running the same race as the rest of these guys. And that's why I was asking. It causes you to shift how you move and how you do.
We have to, because we're Buddha. If you're going to mention Safaricom, and I'm trying to be as humble as I can on this. If you're going to mention Safaricom, mention any brand that has spent billions to build who they are, and they're creating a service. And then you mentioned Juliani. Safaricom is big as it can get. But look at me, I only spent 15 years or 10 years of my life, and I've equally...
Name recognition is same. Yeah.
That's why I'll be front page on Safaricom, even if unless they pay for an ad, that's how the only way they're going to be in front page.
Yeah.
I don't need to pay for
50 million. We even the ones growing up now, they're still
exactly. So why do we diminish or look down on ourselves and our brand level? The only thing we've not been able to
because we don't put value on it.
Exactly, we don't put value in it. We don't have to convert it to something, and it doesn't have to be financial. We need to just put something on it and figure it out over time. So that's what I've been trying to do with the album. Like when I release an album, when I release a song, I'm like, I've gone through whatever I need to go through to package this as an individual. And I'm literally giving you gems and things the same way your pastor does.
Yeah. Jay-Z used to say, I give you for $1.99. I'm giving you $1 million. I'm giving you $1 million dollars worth of game for $9.99.
Exactly. I'm giving you a shortcut to how this thing should be done.
Because that's all you need. Like, if otherwise an older person would have helped me avoid some of these mistakes, I wouldn't be. But I mean, I've lived them. I can now help. I don't want my brother or anybody coming after me to have to repeat the same shit I had to repeat.
Yeah, let's create value around it. And that's the same for a lot of artists. So all these other platforms that exist, from the YouTubes and the Spotify, Boomplays, yeah, they do what they have to do. But the truth is, the artist is not getting value because the artist is the one creating. The creator is the one who has the power. You can create it, you can place it whatever. We are not in a popularity game. We're in a change game. Like the music is in a transformational game or in the transformational business. Any form of art is in the transformational business, because what we do is that we create realities that don't exist, and people get to see themselves before they even get there.
Yeah.
We get to open up minds that even engineering and this thing would have never done. Yeah. We get to go ahead first, open the doors. Emotional, we get to take the risks. Art gets to take the risk, get to do everything. Is bashed, and then
but then you guys make it acceptable. Eventually, after you guys do it, it's okay.
Yeah, Van Gogh died and he's richer, more dead than ever before.
Yeah.
When he was alive, he was poor. He created value. So and human value from an unvalue point of view, if it makes sense. Their value comes from the intangible.
Stuff you can't touch.
Human beings' value comes from stuff you can't touch. And that's what music does, that's what art does, that's what spirituality does, that's what religion does.
True.
Even if human beings can give you their full year earnings just because of the intangible. That's how powerful we are. So why should we diminish and put it down? We need to figure out a way of not only it's not about monetizing it, but creating value that extends beyond. Yeah.
Mabawa is on streaming platforms. Is that intentional?
It wasn't supposed to be in the album.
Okay.
Yeah, Mabawa was just a random song I did, and I really loved it.
I love it so much.
I loved the song, and I was like, let me just release it before the album.
Okay.
And then it became like I was one of my favorites, and I was like, let me just put it, and it fits the vibe.
Okay. We've been talking masterpiece. What's your favorite song?
I don't have any.
Really?
No. I can tell you, doing Snobby Shoulder Man was a little bit risky, courageous kidogo.
Okay.
Because it's not like questioning God and it making it even the first song in the album.
Especially because people had questions and trying to understand where's Juliani, is he this, is he that?
Yeah. So that was a little bit whatever. I like Inheritance Yakamba. I like Just Another Tuesday because I wrote all in one go. I didn't think twice. I didn't edit. I didn't do whatever I wrote is what I recorded.
You didn't okay.
Because normally I take pieces together. Most difficult to write was Many Than Them.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was more political, and I didn't want to do the usual complaining politics where I complain. I can document the issues, but I can say like, hey, let's go and do this.
Yeah.
Especially after Utawala. I didn't want to complain that, hey, from a victim point of view.
Did Utawala help or hurt?
Now Utawala make me money. Utawala is my biggest song. I perform it has cut across politics, whatever. All the Utawala. The only problem that now people started branding me as a political artist. Before it was gospel, now political. That's the only issue I had. So I only got certain gigs.
Okay.
Nobody ever invited me for a club show. And I'm a really good performer, man. And drunk people like Utawala. So I'm like, nobody ever invited me for a club show. But the people took me serious.
Okay. I love that you understood the importance of performance, because your performance is.
No, I'm one of the best, bro.
But like,
I'm not going to be.
Yeah. So how do you hone that craft and like? Because that's how you get paid out here. You're gonna get paid to perform, but like performance is something you take very seriously, and you even keep evolving. When you take it, you do it in the like.
I was lucky because I was in Ukoflani Momao, and when I was in Ukoflani, I was like, I can't have my music just be a good lyrics, good punchline. So let me include God, and then I got and meet Kanji.
Yes.
And I'm like, Kanji was a musician, and everybody from Kijiji Records was a musician. So I'm like, I'm just a rapper. I have to be a musician. So the way I program my performance and the way I created the performance, whatever, was all based on those backgrounds. And I'm like, okay, I have to, if you can't understand my lyrics, you have to understand my energy. And if you can't understand my energy, you have to appreciate the effort at least.
Yeah.
As a rapper. So, and I always tell people always put me into that category of a rapper. Like, I'm not a rapper, bro. Like, I'm a musician.
How would you define Juliani?
Sijui.
For real?
I don't know. I'm just a man who seeks, bro. Like, I seek God. I seek a better version of who I can be.
So when you see people defining you, it doesn't bother you?
No, they define it from the level of trauma, level of ideology, level of success, level of experience, level of everything, or level of what they've been exposed to. You can only describe what you've seen or what you've been through. You can't describe what's new.
Yeah.
So
you can't dream of someone you've never seen. In your dreams, you only see people. You can't see a person in your dream that you've never seen before.
Exactly.
So when you think you have to, that's the limit of your dreams. What you've seen.
Yeah, unless you're inspired. So people only. So that's why if people say things about me, whatever, I'm like, okay, now I know who you are because of how you look at things.
As we've talked, I've realized something. I actually kind of like this whole exclusive thing because, you know how artists, people come, oh, I love your music, and then they know that one song of yours. But someone can't come and finesse you and tell you they know, they bought the album. Because one, it's not even, it's about, your fans are going.
I always ask.
Seriously?
If you
will
tell
you know
me,
album?
I'll ask, kuna album yangu gani? I always ask, if you tell me that you're a fan, I don't take selfies, we talk first.
Okay.
Yeah, because you just know my face.
Yes.
And you just saw me on a paper somewhere. You don't know me.
And that's what I'm saying. It's important how you're doing it. And as I've thought about it, I'm like, it's actually a better thing than it is a bad thing, because the people who buy your music will get to consume it and understand where you're at and the music you put out. And the people who don't listen will only know what you're going to share for everybody.
They don't go out of their way to the few who go out of the way are the real fans. The people who don't go out of their way to, because it's not of value to them, it doesn't help them. So the day will have discovered it, they will consume it as no.
Yeah.
Well, let me show you. Like when I did my live during the Corona thing,
Mhm.
I was the only artist who did live
Shout out.
without partners, without nothing.
Yeah.
We didn't have money from anybody. We got 600 people sending us money, and we pay all our bills.
Only 600 people.
600 people, and I called each one of them. I didn't call. I probably called 400.
Okay.
Kazingomo. I called 400.
Credo mingi.
Yeah, credo mingi. So the guys people sent 10 bob. Some guys sent me 100,000. Some guys send me whatever.
Yeah.
So now you know the power of community. And if you talk
And that's all you need.
exactly.
Why would you need a million whatever views or that? A million views even on YouTube doesn't pay you shit. And that's what they won't tell you. You can have 5 million views and still be you're still not being able to pay rent. You can't buy tokens. Akuna stima, but unajulikana.
It's all a lie, bro. It's all a lie. So we have to, if I know one person and I have your number and I have your contact and you've surrendered and you've shared that contact,
Yeah.
it means we can have more discussions, no? You only ujua mrembo umeingiza manzi box akikupatia namba
Akiwa inangos.
anaweza kupatia mganga saa zingine, but at least utajua amekuweka wapi, unaona?
Yeah.
So that's how you know. When I put a number, when people want to know more, can I be engaged?
And it's more important to have that community than a million followers.
Buddha, worldwide, I just need 100,000 people to like my music and to interact with them. If I get 10,000, I'll be so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for those 10,000 people. I can build this country I can build them also, share with them what God's tell me. So like I just need 10,000 people and we'll take over this country and the world, man.
I'm going to ask my final questions as we wrap up. You said that this last few months has showed you why you need to make music. I want to know what when you say why.
People are sick. People need help, bro. People are sick. They need help.
And you feel like that's something you've been called to kind of, I don't know.
People are sick, bro. I'll do songs, I will do books, I will do whatever. People are sick and they need help, man. And they don't know they're sick. When people talk about certain things around women, when they talk about women a certain way, when they talk about themselves a certain way, because from the abundance of the heart, so the mouth speaks. So whatever is in the heart, whatever somebody speaks, if they're not paid, if somebody's paid and they talk like that, yeah, probably they have to pay their bills. But generally, people are sick. They're unwell. There's there's violence everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Killing people. People are killing each other. People
the country is, the police are killing them. They're killing themselves. There's just violence everywhere. Wasana ibiwa. They can't trust nobody. There's a remnant of them, but people are unwell.
Juliani, my final question for you is, and this is a final question we always ask. It's very consistent. When it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for?
I don't need to be remembered, bro.
For real?
Nah, for what?
But the impact you've had.
Nah. I don't need to be remembered, bro. I did my time. I was here. Nah. I need to be remembered, bro.
So if it's not about being remembered and it's not about the money or it's not about the popularity, what would you tell the Jeshi listening? What do you want them to know now? Because we're here now. And we're living in the now. So
I think
fuck the future, fuck the past. We have no control over that. But the now, what do we need to know now, according to you?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But I just feel, personally, the simple fact that I get to talk like we all live a life of privilege. We never know that because we use other people's standards to determine who we are. Like we all, and I go back to the Nora. I'm like, Buddha, you don't know you guys, what you have. I know. I see the dump.
What do they have?
Man, I don't know what to say. Even I know another story altogether, because I've interacted across the board with people, and I can talk about I've interacted with people in the West and stuff like that. You go back in Africa and you're like, we have the rawness of God. We are the only people who can leapfrog to something that the world has never seen. we can never use other people's standards to determine our worth, because you're always using big roads, wide roads, more malls, what food, instant food, whatever, what do you call it?
Indomie,
Fast food.
yeah.
We're always using big cars as to determine our worth. And yet we have something that the world doesn't have, as Africans too. Certain rawness of God. The faith, belief. We don't believe in system. We believe. Africans believe. The most spiritual. The other world, the only thing they have is the wide roads and the thing. They don't have the pureness of God. That's why they always come here. They don't come here because of the wild animals. And even they come with the wild animals because we are the only frontier left. You can see certain aspects of God in the wild.
Yeah.
You know, so I think for us to understand every individual, and and I'll say this story over and over. So there's a time I was driving and somebody threw, and I was with my partner there, and then somebody threw something outside the window. And she asked, hey, it didn't make sense to her why people threw stuff on it. And actually, I was like, okay, it doesn't make sense to me. But later now I realized that actually this guy, the reason why he's doing this, because he thinks he's too small. He's too small that his actions don't matter. Hata hiyo throw anaona hiyo it doesn't add up to the bigger thing. Him himself, he doesn't think he's being seen. Mmoja msaki anaonekana hiyo feature kidogo. So he thinks himself or herself too small to be seen or to even have impact. That's the problem we're having, bro. People are unwell and they think they're too small.
And we're all very important.
Buddha, it's me every day of my life. I don't need to be remembered after I die. I don't need to do G's or impact, whatever. Me, I just know every moment of my breathing is a privilege to even be in this existence. I don't know why God chose me to be here. I don't know why He gave me my talent. I don't know why He gave me this level of exposure, access to whatever. But it's just a privilege to be here and to be alive. And I can literally say that the same when I was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I was in Dandora, because I couldn't see it then, because I thought I was too small.
Okay, so guys, we started off the show playing you guys the Masterpiece album, and I would encourage anybody who is willing to listen and is able to listen to purchase the album, to sit down and listen to it. And it's a masterpiece on its own, and I want to thank God for Juliani, especially because for using him to spread the message, to spread knowledge, to share his life experience, because it's not by mistake or coincidence that Juliani is Juliani and that he's doing what he's doing. So I'm grateful for him for honoring our invite. I'm grateful for him for sharing with us, and lastly, just thank you for sharing your music and your talent with the world. We really appreciate that, Juliani.
Nashukuru man.
To everybody listening, we love you.
I like this kind of interviews. Haina nini katikati. Inaitwaje mapromo na manini.
Hakuna advertisements.
Unapayuka unasema kila kitu and then unaenda home. Nashukuru Ben.
No, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Good night.